Sometimes I wonder, and I think I wonder the same things you wonder. Who killed the singer Aaliyah? Who set her up? Who was behind her murder? Who even knew that plane was crashing at that time it crashed? And if you has been wondering and curious as I am, stay tuned, hit the like button, subscribe button, and share this video because we finna do a deep dive and see exactly where did this story take a left turn in. So here it is, 2026. As of today, June 18th, 2026, Aaliyah would have been 45 years old. Shocking. Would have been 45 years old, beautiful young Black woman who's broadcast her talent so far and wide around the universe that it landed her one major record. And landing that record deal, caused her a lot of upsets, a lot of happiness, a lot of downtimes, a lot of great times, and all in all, I think the person that's behind the murder of Aaliyah, the person that's behind the killing of Aaliyah, has to be someone close, has to be someone she knew. We finna dive into this video.
On the 31st of August 1994, 15-year-old Aaliyah Holton would be married to one of the biggest names in music, a man nearly twice her age, just so he could manage the consequences of what he'd done to her without her parents ever finding out. The man in question was 27-year-old Robert Sylvester Kelly, better known as R. Kelly, and the consequences of his actions had resulted in a pregnancy. But the story doesn't start there. Aaliyah had been introduced to R. Kelly years earlier, when she was about 12, by her own uncle, music exec Barry Hankerson, the man who discovered Kelly, managed him, and helped secure his deal.
Let's stop right there. I got to pause it right there because that factor right there that he zoned in on, being introduced to R. Kelly, who's maybe 8 years older than you. Oh, let's go even further, 12 years older than you. And that artist your uncle is managing, introduces you to him. All in all, I think this was a setup. It was a overplay for the underplay, if you ask me. I don't think she knew what was going to take place. I don't believe that for a fact. And I'm gonna be even realer with you. I don't believe the fact that Aaliyah was, participating willingly within this scene, within this interaction, within this musical relationship that they had together. I'm gonna be even more realer. I believe that she was only doing so because of the fact that maybe she had to do it for the record deal, the money. To stay in the music scene, to stay being able to create music. This young lady was passionate about what she did. She was passionate about her craft. Her uncle knew this. Yet, a lot of folks like myself and others feel like he took advantage of that very moment, that very second, that very intuitive vulnerability that his niece carried. He took advantage of that. Let's finish diving into this vid, and we're gonna go further down the line. And even after this, I might do a deeper dive and see who he is. Do his Wikipedia background, and let's see what we can, log up from there, muster up from there.
The same label Aaliyah would later sign to. When it came to record her debut album, Hankerson pointed Kelly at his own niece, asking him to write and produce her debut album. The reality? he had just handed her over to a very dangerous man.
All you have to do is take a look at her. And she's grown. The one I first met, she's grown. She had that thing, that vibe.
For most of 1993, Aaliyah and R. Kelly weren't just spending time together in the studio. They were spending time together outside it too. The kind of time that made the relationship look less like mentorship and more like exploitation. It was during this time that their relationship crossed the line.
Whoa, what's that?
I just built a budgeting app in Base 44.
Guys, Nina just built an app.
The album would be released in May 1994, 4 months after Aaliyah's 15th birthday, by which point she had spent well over a year in Kelly's orbit. And the name of the album? The ominously titled Age Ain't Nothing But a Number.
His first album is made by R. Kelly, and it's called Age Ain't Nothing But a Number.
Wow, that's wild. You feel me? And the reason I say that's wild because who the hell was the A&Rs behind this goddamn, CD being created? Who was the goddamn A&R behind the titles, behind the, the scene where we seen them getting together and kicking in? Who the hell was the A&R? Who was the person paying attention? Who was the person that was watching? Who was the person that was really keeping up with these cats? Definitely Aaliyah. At that point in time, Aaliyah wasn't even of age. She wasn't even of age to do any of these activities that she was doing with R. Kelly, nor the uncle. The uncle automatically probably should have had a lawyer that was with his niece during these moments. And from the look of it, one of these scenes, you can clearly see that her nor R. Kelly was excited about this career that they had, about this passion. And that's 1994. They don't look too excited. I think he's more excited for her versus the career. And at the end of the day, I think the uncle had a free leeway, a free goddamn, opening, a free key to a vault of money dealing with these two artists. You feel me? That look right there. That look right there tells me so much. It tells me they're not satisfied. It tells me they are depressed behind putting so much energy into the work for the passionate, event or a passionate input of lyrics, vocals, words, talent, time, energy that they're giving and they're not getting enough out. Even to go deeper, none of the careers of these two was really talked about at that moment. Now, don't get it twisted. R. Kelly career just happened to be talked about right after the moment up, till he being summoned to prison, I say. Behind that setup, behind that stage play that they actually presented to the world. And, everybody was looking like R. Kelly couldn't have been alone. He couldn't have been doing this by himself. And you can hear it in his voice and his tone and his character. Y'all gonna do this to me? Y'all gonna let them do this to me? As if he been fighting for this not to happen. As if he been pleading to somebody within these labels or somebody who's paying him the top dollars to sing, to be the, what was he? The king of R&B, whatever. They was paying him top dollar, not only just to sing, but to shut the fuck up and be R. Kelly, be the goofball, be the stupid, be the, the last one to figure out anything about his business, but the only one to know everything about bullshit and, negative and comments around. And that was fun. Let's keep going. I want to keep going and let's dive in because, like I said, I believe the uncle knew a lot more than what he laid on. The uncle probably coerced a lot of this shit. And we're gonna go deep. I think the uncle was playing both of these artists, keeping more than what they said he was, obligated to. He was in everything, probably giving them pennies on a dollar, and that's
line. The album would be released in May 1994, 4 months after Aaliyah's 15th birthday, by which point she had spent well over a year in Kelly's orbit. And the name of the album? the ominously titled Age Ain't Nothing But a Number.
Aaliyah's first album is made by R. Kelly, and it's called Age Ain't Nothing But a Number. And that the title song is about a young girl.
Or if older person falls in love with someone younger, it's really everyone can relate to it, not just one group of people.
The album campaign would show just how intertwined he was in her work.
The even deeper, horrific take on this is that R. Kelly is in the background. I noticed that he was on the cover. He not only was on the cover and then in the background of the videos, he created the CD title, and I think if Aaliyah would have probably had the full fledged open door to create her own, music, her own list, her own CD list, her own album cover, I believe she probably would have done a little better than that than just to sign Age Ain't Nothing But a Number. Like, let's be you can tell even on that factor is because on that song she did with Timbaland, you can hear the course of the song. You can hear the baby in the background of the song crying. You can hear a whole bunch of symbolic ass synchronizated sounds in the background, and I'm sure Timbaland was aware of this. You understand? I'm sure he was. But then nobody stopped to say anything about that. Then nobody stopped to do no studies. Definitely not the uncle. He didn't care about the research. All he did was, look, as long as I get the check, my niece is happy. If my niece is coming around, she's smiling, I can assume R. Kelly is doing his job and everybody else is playing the role they're supposed to play, which is crazy. A lot of times we see these artists put on these masks where they gotta, fake the funk. They might not be excited. They might not be happy about nothing. You know what I'm saying? The whole time, the experiments, and the journeys that they are going on, due to the, the connection between the record label and their talent, they never really get the good end of the stick out of that journey. They always get the ugliest end of the stick. You know that we know that from what was the boy name? Little Zane, I believe it was. His manager doing some bogus, choking from the back seat, snatching his phone, turning his live off. And at the end of the day, him as an artist, this is how he got to promote his music. This is how he got to keep himself afloat, right? Correct. It shows you behind the scenes, these labels, they do some of the most heinous things to these artists because for one, they like, shit, I pay you. It's like a job. If you late to a job, if you ain't showing up, if you ain't performing at 130%, you giving 100 but not 130. The boss feel like he got the right to jump down your throat, snap on you, give you less days than you had before last week. And I think all that is a crock of shit. But now when you get in these labels and you get on movie scenes and sets and you get to doing shit like TV shows, I think you get a little deeper and they get more so heinous than better and positive. One, are we gonna figure out,
Appearing on the album cover, his vocals all over the record and featuring in 3 of the music videos. At the same time, he was promoting his own debut solo album, 12 Play, an explicit R&B record built around singles Sex Me, Bump and Grind, and Your Body's Calling. The contrast was disturbing. The same man selling adult fantasies on one album was writing and producing Teenage Girl's debut on another.
The new way.
It was a good experience. It was fun. Watching them put songs together from scratch taught me a lot. So hopefully I can produce another one. Now a collaboration. Yes, of course.
Long before each other simply as best friends, but insiders started to talk.
Everybody see.
I can see R. Kelly more so observing as a handler. He's sitting back observing as if like, hey, yo, look, make sure you get all these questions right. If they ask you something, make sure you say this, that, and the other. And it looks horrifying. I ain't gonna lie to you, gang. I think I think it's giving off of like a taught type of behavior, because if the uncle has been managing R. Kelly, you know, when he went to jail, it was a lot of stories about how he was broke. It was a lot of stories coming out of rumors about how his money was being taken from him, and he never knew nothing about it. He really didn't discuss anything with the managers, the accountants, the lawyers, none of that shit, right? And it's just so happened that Aaliyah uncle is his manager, right? And then these two end up getting together. Like, what the hell is going on? Like I told y'all before, I think Mr. Barry, he found himself an easy target. He like, oh, got one, my niece. And then also, and you know, it's funny, I don't know where the mom was at, but he like, shit, my niece. And this guy dumb as hell. He from Chicago, you feel me? He know no better. I'm finna play the shit out of him. Y'all can see how they tried to dress her up, make her look older than what she was. You feel me? 27. They tried to make her look at least 21, 22. Whole time she just turned 15, 16, dropping his music. Now the record label was supposed to have the parents' consent, you know, on the contract. Hey, y'all, look, my kid is underage, so I'm gonna have to sign a contract stating that I am representative of whatever take place with this child, right? We didn't feel that. No, we didn't. We didn't get that. We didn't see no, you know, black and white data saying, hey, yo, our parents was there, signed the rights, also signing the rights, signed the kid over to the uncle because he was, you know, so deep in the game. At the end of the day, gang, it's a lot of shit that got to do with Aaliyah, her contract, R. Kelly, so on and so forth. I think that's probably why he took that shot on the jaw like that, and he just turned the other cheek. He couldn't say nothing. He knew what they was going on behind Aaliyah, the crash, the money. You know, I can even go further than that. I can say that I believe they probably even split some of the money with him, you know, so he can shut his ass. If they didn't, it was all the uncle's idea.
That y'all are either girlfriend or boyfriend or cousins or friends. let's just get the record straight.
Well, no, we're not related at all. No, we're not. We're just very close. He's my best friend.
Cool.
Now, who found him? In the whole wide world.
In the 1994 issue of Sister to Sister magazine, publisher Jamie Foster Brown wrote that Kelly had told her that he and Aaliyah got together and it was magic. She also reported hearing about an inappropriate relationship between them, stating, I've been hearing about Robert and Aaliyah for a while, as she was pregnant. Every time I asked the label, they said it was platonic, but I kept hearing complaints from people about her being in the studio with all those men. Years later, Javonte Cunningham, a former backup dancer, would claim to have witnessed deeply inappropriate behavior between R. Kelly and Aaliyah on his tour bus.
When the door flew open on the bus.
What did you see?
Things that an adult should not be doing with a child. Robert was having sex with Aaliyah.
Regardless of the growing whispers, the album proved to be a success, peaking in the top 20 of Billboard and selling 2 million copies by the end of that year. But those numbers would be overshadowed by what came next. The Vibe magazine's December 94 issue, R. Kelly featured as the cover story.
For some odd reason, gang, if you look at the picture versus her picture, you know, let's just go back just a second, right? Let's go back a second. You can see the difference. You can see her depression, her sadness almost. And, you know, you can see his excitement. You can see where he's risen. His energy is going to the top. You know what I'm saying? He's at his peak. Even right here, the photo don't look too, you understand what I'm saying? It didn't look too happy. It didn't look too exciting. Now, at that moment in the industry, in your career, gang, anybody, I don't care who you is, woman, male, black, white, purple, you are going to be at your peak of excitement, right? You're going to be at your peak of excitement. I feel like a lot of this stuff was coerced, and like I said, with the clothes, you can see how they overdressed. So, you know, you can look a little older than what you was. And this made me think, right? So if we can say that much with Aaliyah, as far as like, yeah, they was overdressing her to make her look older than what she was, we automatically know it was happening with TLC, Left Eye, Chilling Them, the big ass clothes they was putting on. And then look, now we got to go to JD. You know what I'm saying? But it makes you wonder, like, damn, was they doing that just to cover up them sleeping with them girls? You know what I'm saying? They knew for a fact, like, damn, these little bitches underage. I signed them. I know I'm liable for them. I know I can get in trouble. And on top of that, you know that the parents went around to sign the contracts because, look, y'all remember the goddamn Temptation movie, right? Now, and also y'all remember what was the Tina Turner movie, right? I don't know how I forgot that, y'all. That's so, you know, so crazy. At the end of the day, the Tina Turner movie, where Ike came and he, you know, gave the mama some money and signed her daughter off. And at the end of the day, the mama, only thing she wanted was that money. She wanted that cash. Her eyes seen the dollar signs and it said ching ching. She didn't give two shits about the daughter, you know. At the end of the day, and that's a woman's type of behavior anyway. You know, she like, shit, well, it's about me. And I already know my daughter trying to take my spot. You know, the bitches be so like comparative, so in a battle, so competitive against each other that, you know, mom's like, hey, give me that money. Fuck her, take her. She better bring some money back, make sure she's singing, she better be paying these bills. All the time, he, you know, doing an overplay for the under. Like, shit, moms took the money for this. I already know it ain't sweet. You know, and it make you think like, damn, JD was doing the same thing, you know, not saying this something against JD, but damn, y'all overdressing them. Y'all knew all the bros were drunk as fuck. What was really taking place, right? You know, what was really, like I said, they giving them broads money probably just to, hey, look, I'm buying you a purse, I'm buying you this, I'll pay your rent, put you in the house. Long as you don't get to flipping out, because they know goddamn well these bitches so young, they gonna flip out, they gonna trip. R. Kelly, old as hell. He knew exactly what he was doing to them young girls. He like, shit, I'm finna have mine going crazy at the end of the day. And then once it go crazy, I'm finna have normal, and I'm finna be doing all my music while she over there can't complete no music because I got the motherfucking mind fucked. Sad. And I think that's why he facing what he's facing. You know, I think they know something deeper. They know R. Kelly knew what happened with Aaliyah. They know that. They probably locked him up on some other shit, but they know exactly what he know, right? They just probably want him to tell it.
This would be overshadowed by what came next. The Vibe magazine's December 94 issue, R. Kelly featured as the cover story under the headline Super Free, which was meant to include an exclusive interview. But he pulled out at the 11th hour on the advice of his lawyers. Why? The article would confirm the rumors about the marriage. And Vibe published the marriage license to prove it.
Hold on, let me go back. I've seen something at the top. I need to make sure. Right, so as we go, let's see.
The cover story under the headline
It say the sex, the souls, the sales, and the scandalous marriage to teenager superstar Aaliyah. Oh, I knew I wasn't tripping.
Super Free, which was meant to include an exclusive interview, but he pulled out at the 11th hour on the advice of his lawyers. Why? The article would confirm the rumors about the marriage. And Vibe published the marriage license to prove it. It was chaos within the R. Kelly camp, with no spokesperson for either him or Aaliyah willing to comment, as the mainstream media began presenting the story to the masses.
R. Kelly did indeed marry his protege, the 15-year-old singer Aaliyah Houghton.
The story goes, according to Vibe, Aaliyah had traveled with R. Kelly to Illinois and married him in a hotel room. Years later, the minister who officiated the marriage would reveal in court that he had been asked to sign an NDA by Kelly before officiating the wedding. And although he didn't sign it, he gave Kelly his word and never spoke publicly about it. That was until he was subpoenaed to in the 2021 case against R. Kelly.
And for the record, you are how old? That's a secret. Women doesn't disclose her age.
The question still remained. How did Aaliyah get married when the age of consent was 18 and she was just 15? And why the sudden rush?
Kelly stated his age is 27. 2 years older than he previously claimed to be, and Aaliyah produced 2 pieces of ID that appeared to show her to be 18. But his publicists continue to insist that she's 15, and most convincingly, the Detroit High School of the Performing Arts acknowledged that Aaliyah is in fact a 10th grade student there.
Boot.dev is a platform for anyone looking to master back-end web development, and it's designed to keep you engaged.
Damningly, the Illinois marriage license dated August 31st for Robert S. Kelly and Aaliyah D. Halton listed their respective ages as 27 and 18.
Aaliyah's married.
Right.
I just say, well, I say no.
Well, she may say no, but this marriage certificate shows that last August, Aaliyah and R. Kelly said yes. But hold on a sec. How old did she say she was again?
I'm in my mid-teens. 15, 16, 17.
So if she says mid-teens, the certificate says 18 and her record company 15, how old is Aaliyah?
Robert said, man, we got Aaliyah in trouble. Robert mentioned to me that I think she's pregnant.
Demetrius Smith Sr., R. Kelly's former tour manager, stated in 2011 that Kelly married Aaliyah after she told him she was pregnant. In Illinois, anyone under 18 needs parental consent to end a pregnancy. And so, if she was listed as 18 and they were legally married, he could authorize it without her parents knowing.
I was in the room when they got married.
Others describe the marriage as a way for Kelly to avoid legal consequences for an illegal relationship with a young person.
Aaliyah's parents are so outraged that if they choose to take action, R. Kelly could well be charged with statutory.
He told me that they were married, that she was pregnant, that they did doctor up the marriage certificate so she would say that she was 18 so they could get married. And the reason they got married was because they felt like if he was married to her and if he said he thought that she was 18, that he wouldn't be charged if someone found out she was pregnant until they were able to get it annulled.
Smith would later describe how he helped Aaliyah forge the necessary documents to show she was 18 by bribing a government employee to obtain a fake ID so that the underage singer could be issued a marriage license.
So right away, R. Kelly was already going through his own little uphill battle, gang, trying to lie about this young girl's age. That drove everybody crazy because they like, look, Robert Kelly, this thing, it ain't had no. Don't make sense. Then he starts sending the people in there to interview her. Like, well, so is y'all married? Y'all dating? Y'all a couple? Or what's going on? Oh, we're not nothing. We're just best friends. And at the end of the day, they're looking at all the A&Rs, the producers, the managers and shit. And they like, wait, hold on. Is something else going on with these people? Why they together? They taking pictures. They wearing the same jogging fits. You feel me? She going to his house. None of it made sense. But you know what's even crazier? Where's the uncle? I never seen an uncle not one time in this video. I ain't even see him come forth. That tells me what? That tells you something too. That tells you and I both that he's somewhere spending their money. Are they all in tabloids? Are they all in the fucking what you call that, paparazzi eyes, getting exposed and being labeled as this and that? Really, it's behind R. Kelly because he's the one that brought this upon himself. Chicago niggas always do that goofy ass shit. They want to do the most. They got the young hoes on. Oh yeah, I got me a little bitch. That bitch way younger than you, but you swerving down that show, bitch. You understand what I'm saying? And that's what R. Kelly was doing. But I think that shit caught up to him in the long run because he trying to make fake IDs. You printing out fake marriage certificates. And like I said, that nigga must have, I don't know what the fuck he was thinking. His managers and them didn't give two shits about him. They probably like, hell yeah, do what you want, right? Shit, we finna bust that little check down you just got from that damn show that you don't know about that you got. You understand? It'd be crazy, but let's keep going.
Boy, I had papers for them, but Aaliyah was underage. Aaliyah looked worried, scared, worried and scared.
They never confirmed. It is believed that once married, 15-year-old Aaliyah ended her pregnancy.
Where was the outrage? Where was Essence? Where was Ebony? Where was the local news? Where was anyone? Why didn't the culture say something is wrong?
7 months later, in February 1995, the marriage would be annulled by her parents. Jem Pratt, Kelly's former security guard, Aaliyah's parents were for being the In fact, Father Michael Holton was he wanted to press charges. But that didn't stop R. Kelly from calling Aaliyah and, when her dad answered, from allegedly saying, "Put my wife on the phone." Ultimately, Aaliyah's family signed an NDA with R. Kelly that stated that they wouldn't press charges against him in turn for the rights to his first 3 albums, which of course would prove extremely lucrative for them.
Her mother actually was attracted to him as well, and he said when Aaliyah would go to sleep, he would go in the living room and him and her would do wax on the couch while Aaliyah was asleep in the bedroom.
R. Kelly was having sex with Aaliyah and her mother at the same time? Not the exact same time, but
that's
the
what he
same
said.
time frame?
That's what he says, yeah.
That
creating custom.
Seemed like Kels didn't give no fucks, gang. That's one of the craziest things I've ever heard, man. I mean, if you ask me, I can't lie to you. That's one of the craziest things I have ever heard, definitely coming out of a celeb mouth, you know. And it backfired like that. That shit is by far crazy. I believe R. Kelly, if he would have kept himself to himself, if he would have stopped being this playeristic self he was, you know, that man would be rich as shit. He would have been the king of whatever. Was it R&B? I don't know what the fuck they were saying. He was king of whatever they were saying. He would have did it. He would have been on top of the world. He probably could have, you know, been one of the greats, even close to Michael Jackson. And it's always crazy because Chicago, right, like 2 hours away. There's always the people from Chicago that be so close to making it. I mean, it's so crazy. Yo, for instance, you feel me? And any other artist that came out of Chicago and that can, you know, tarnish their career, risk their career, fucked it all off and threw it in the river. I think if you get this opportunity, you get this chance, man, you better make sure you do everything in your power to keep it. Do everything in your goddamn ability to keep the position you in. Now I mean by like a 9-to-5, my nigga. If you working as an actor, if you a music person, you doing music, or even if you an artist, you drawing shit, selling big paintings, $100,000 paintings, man, you better keep that position. You feel me? Because these people that are die for that position, and if you feel like you would jeopardize that position, then let somebody that are die for that position take your position, take your place. You understand what I'm saying? That's the realest shit. Realest shit. For real.
The journalist who first broke the story of R. Kelly's misconduct and who had seen the sealed court document. It was, in his words, a harrowing read. A non-disclosure agreement on both their parts, vowing not to pursue further legal claims for, amongst other things, physical harm. In other words, he had been violent with her too. The aftermath exposed just how protective R. Kelly really was. Despite the conclusive evidence against him, Jive Records kept him on their roster without a single interruption. In fact, his success would only grow. His next album would debut at #1. He'd write and produce a song for Michael Jackson, and he'd go on to have countless hits, including a duet with Celine Dion. What's more, less than 2 years after the Vibe expose, he would release the biggest song of his career, for which he'd received 3 Grammy Awards. His fan base didn't waver. No one at the label issued a statement, and it seemed nobody asked any question.
Look, the fake smile in the back, y'all. Y'all see the fake smile in the back? That shit is crazy. Look at that, man. And I bet you that person right there is part of his team. Like, Jive Records wasn't going to say nothing. They wasn't going to give a statement because, look, he just made one of the biggest records of his life, you know, and probably made them, you know, double digit in the millions. At the end of the day, you think they finna report it? Don't be real. You wouldn't report it either. If this is your artist, he's singing as good as he do. He's outgoing, you feel me, outspoken. And then, you know, in the long run, everybody found out R. Kelly couldn't read or write, just like Floyd Mayweather. But this your art. You ain't finna report him. You not finna turn him in. Y'all making millions. He doing shows, he doing tours, and you can tell he was like distracted. You know what I'm saying? You can tell he was distracted. They kept him distracted, probably with women, probably with drugs, probably, you know, with a whole bunch of things. Look at him, you know, he distracted. And the distraction, you can tell because, you know, they got to keep making money. This shit can't stop. The machine cannot stop now, right? He even got a chance with Michael Jackson. He didn't get a chance to do a song with him, but he had a chance to write for him. So Michael Jackson was smart too. You know, he's like, nah, fuck that. I heard about him. They don't want to be in the same room with that guy. I bet that's what Michael Jackson said. He fuck all that. So at the end of the day, you know, R. Kelly did blow his chances, man. He had some of the best opportunities, best chances. But I still ain't get the full story of whatever happened with the uncle. Where was he at this whole time? Hopefully we can find.
And he'd go on to have countless hits, including a duet with Celine Dion. What's more, less than 2 years after the Vibe expose, he would release the biggest song of his career, for which he'd received 3 Grammy Awards. His fan base didn't waver. No one at the label issued a statement, and it seemed nobody asked any questions.
So it was natural for me to see executives, you know, hovering around him, making sure he was okay. They didn't know how to relate.
So now the uncle speaks out. Look at him, gang. Here we go. He finally speaks out. Right? What is he saying? Is he more worried about R. Kelly? Well, of course he would be. That's his money. That's his right. His niece is already long gone, and plus, before he decided to make that courageous yet cowardly decision to sacrifice his niece for a bigger check, because his label was failing. You know, he I don't think he kept his label up. Look at him. Just look at his face. Guys, the hairline, sit back. That's a hairline, and that shows I didn't keep my record label up. God damn, I couldn't do it. At the end of the day, yo, I think he probably should have done better, and I think a lot of this shit is coming out on him. Maybe R. Kelly probably sitting behind bars telling. Maybe R. Kelly is like, fuck that, they not finna throw my life. You know what I'm saying? After he get through being dumb up in there, after he get through getting knocked out up in there, and made to sing, forced to sing. You know, I heard a group of young boys beat his ass and said, R. Kelly, you better sing that one song we like. That favorite, what's your favorite song, brother? I Believe I Can Fly. Nigga, sing it right now. You know what I'm saying? I wonder, did he have enough? He probably gonna come out start telling, yeah, P. Diddy, Bob Davis, all these motherfuckers, it was him, whatever his name is, Barry. You feel me? Like, come on now.
Aaliyah, you know, but they were trying to see if the guy was okay, if the man involved was okay.
For Aaliyah, the consequences were different. Jomo Hankerson, her cousin and an exec at Blackground Records, later said that the industry villainized her relationship with R. Kelly, and that the fallout made the transition into her second album much harder. Despite coming off a multi-platinum debut, producers were suddenly hesitant. Apart from a few relationships with people like Jermaine Dupri, Blackground struggled to get major names involved. So the scandal did not end when the marriage was annulled. It ended her career, forcing her to rebuild her sound, but the entire industry's willingness to stand beside her. By summer 1995, Aaliyah was ready to rebuild. She wanted a sound that felt more mature, cooler, and further away from R. Kelly. That brought her 2 young outsiders almost nobody knew yet: Timbaland and Missy Elliott. Her family had doubts because neither had a real track record, but Aaliyah heard something in them and pushed for the sessions anyway. The project would also feature early work from another unknown, Rodney Jerkins.
Yo, coolest shit ever.
I wrote a podcast solo. Nope.
To me, coolest shit ever is Eminem is my favorite rapper, man. Shout out to Eminem. Shout out to you, brother. But I never knew he met Aaliyah. I never knew he was even in the photo for her. You understand what I'm saying? And that's different. That's deep. That's different. It hit different on so many levels, if you ask me. Now, a lot of y'all probably never knew that either. You probably never knew your favorite singer or artist or your favorite, movie actor was related to some other people that you probably dislike or such, whatever. But let's keep going, man. Let's get deeper in this video.
And changed the direction of her career. Supported by If Your Girl Only Knew and the title track, the album went double platinum in under a year, and over time, its influence kept growing. At 17, Aaliyah had become the face of a more experimental, futuristic kind of R&B, built around digital beats, cavernous sounds, and vocals that didn't need to shout to dominate the room. More importantly, Aaliyah made it clear she wanted no public connection to R. Kelly. She avoided questions about that period and later filed in Cook County to have the marriage records expunged, arguing that her age had been falsified and that, under Illinois law, she had been too young to marry without parental consent. As far as she was concerned, that chapter was closed.
What was the situation between you and ex-producer Robert Kelly, aka R. Kelly?
Well, what do you want to know?
A lot of folks thought you all married and it had been annulled, and your boyfriend, now husband, and all of a sudden there was nothing going on.
Well, no, I'm not married. That was a rough time for me, to be honest and be real, for me to get through a very tumultuous period.
As the 90s progressed, Aaliyah entered the world of movies, firstly through soundtracks and then through acting. The song Journey to the Past would be nominated for an Academy Award, and she would be invited to perform it live at the Oscars. Are You That Somebody became one of her defining hits, and her first collaboration with writer Static Major, who would become a key creative partner. Her acting debut came...
Wow. Shout out Static Major, man. Shout out Static Major. That hit you on so many levels. The reason I say so is because I like Static Major, and I only started liking Static Major after I heard that Lollipop song with Lil Wayne, right? And it wasn't the song that I liked. It wasn't the beat. It wasn't Lil Wayne verse. And don't ever get it twisted. Lil Wayne is a cold artist. That man is a top-notch artist. He's great and he's excellent with what he do. For Static Major, but it wasn't that. It was more so he did a song and it was like, I think it was like a solo, because Static Major used to be with another guy and they used to rock out with songs. They had a nice CD, good songs on there, great harmonic melodic songs. At the end of the day, I found those songs to be great. I was like, damn, this nigga cold. That nigga, when you hear a nigga that can blow game like Bryson Tiller, or you know what I'm saying, one of these niggas, you like, damn, stop saying, but and unfortunately he lost his life now. It was I think they said it was a complication behind a surgery that took place back at his hometown. I don't know so much about that. Now that I'm looking at it and I'm doing my analyzation of it, it seems to me maybe, and just maybe, somebody possibly could have had him, you feel me, could have had him put out of his misery due to the fact he was involved with this here Miss Lee. I mean, even so far as if she was telling him information and he was like, hey, yo, she confided in him, telling him things like, I went through this with R. Kelly, I went through that with R. Kelly, and it wasn't so good, it was like this, it was like that, and Static like, oh shit, for real, well, I'm gonna put this on my mans and let him know. So I said, I'm gonna tell him that such and such, such and such. I think that was my idea to me. I did not been to nobody else, and even if they did an autopsy, somebody could have paid the autopsy doctor or the autopsy person and say, hey, yeah, it was good, natural causes, whatever the case may be, and this, that, and the other, Wouldn't believe it. I wouldn't know. But anyway, let's see what we have.
Romeo Must Die, for which she contributed 4 songs to the soundtrack, including Try Again, the first song to reach #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 on radio airplay alone, without a physical release. She would also film her second movie, Queen of the Damned, all the while working on her next album. Her future was bright.
You're one sentence.
On July 17th, 2001, she finally released her self-titled third album, known informally as the Red Album, due to its artwork. It had been in the works since 1998, repeatedly delayed by her acting commitments. Upon release, it debuted at number 2, recording the highest first-week sales of her career. However, the lead single, We Need a Resolution, which was selected over the album's second track, Loose Rap, stalled at number 59 on Billboard, and album sales quickly declined. It was crucial that the follow-up single would revive the project. After a debate, the Timbaland-produced More Than a Woman was selected. A video was shot and promotion commenced. But it was the track Rock the Boat which was quietly gaining traction on radio. So the plan changed, and Rock the Boat would now be pushed as the second single. That decision would have devastating consequences.
Wait, yo, you know, I was just paying attention to how she went up for a minute and then it went back down, and I didn't get that. No, why? And that's why I say, yo, when you get to looking at these artists, make sure y'all study who is running the record labels. Who, if you find out who's running the record label, find out who they are connected to, who they're friends with. Because one thing you learn in these industries, just like the acting industry, just like the music industry and every other industry that pays big bucks, you tend to find out that it's not what you know, it's who you know. And if you got great relationships with people, I swear you better not rub elbows or shoulders with the wrong motherfucker. You understand what I'm saying? Because I think these people, you know, I think Aaliyah probably was really feeling herself, and not even feeling herself like, bitch, you think your shit don't stink type, feeling yourself. No. She probably started understanding her talent. She started witnessing and knowing her worth, her self-value within her talent. I think on top of the whole R. Kelly scene, because if y'all notice, the uncle still never was mentioned. That's strange to me. You understand what I'm saying? That's strange. But throughout the whole time of him not being mentioned, and I can come up with a few reasons of him not being mentioned. He probably was, like I said, financially threatening her. You feel me? Threatening her, telling her, hey, yo, look, you ain't gonna get your full payout. I'm gonna hold some of your money back. Oh yeah, you know you have to do this studio time. We have to pay for it, and we have to pay for your living expenses and this, so on and so forth. Like, come on. R. Kelly too. They had him by the balls, and they did the same thing with him until he probably took it in his mind, or you know, look, I ain't never thought of this. I ain't never heard nobody thought of this. What if even, you know, to go deeper, what if he probably put it in his slick ass mind, look, baby, we finna make up a plan. Since they trying to jam us up, they trying to figure out who was jamming them up, found out like, oh, it's our own lady. They trying to jam us up. Well, we need to figure out a plan to do this. We're gonna disappear, we're gonna bam, bada. You know what I'm saying? In the moment a motherfucker noticed or notified of that plan, shit went south. You feel me? Shit went south. And because it even started going back to like when they said the JD part, right? And I was like, wait, did she date JD or what took place? I don't know. I don't know. You know, I would like to. So around this time, you know, music was, I don't know if it was on the incline, decline, was it mid, was it, you feel me? Was it right in the middle for? But let's listen, let's take a listen to deep what really said. What's going on?
What do you want to know?
A lot of folks thought you all married and it had been annulled, and
Well-
was your boyfriend, now husband, and all of a sudden there was nothing going on.
Well, no, I'm not married. That was a rough time for me, to be honest, to be real, for me to get through a very tumultuous period.
As the 90s progressed, Aaliyah entered the world of movies, firstly through soundtracks and then through acting. The song Journey to the Past would be nominated for an Academy Award, and she would be invited to perform it live at the Oscars. Are you that
like, can y'all imagine if she was still alive? She was already going crazy. It seemed like once she detached from R. Kelly, and I don't know if he was that evil parasite that was latching onto her, but once she detached from him, you know, everything went swell. You know, I noticed that everything started to go swell. You know, shit started to look up for her. It seemed like she started to get her life back on track. You know, she was able to put her focus right back on herself. To allow that distraction with R. Kelly to be, you know, inhibited. And he knew damn well that she was into the music. He knew damn well, but see, he didn't give a fuck. He was already getting the money. Since I brought you along, how about this? Right? And if you don't follow my order, then shit, you can kick rocks. I'll go get another girl who'll sing just like you. Nah, he was gonna take the fucking books. That's what he was gonna do. He was gonna steal the lyrics from his niece. You know, I'm giving you the money. Come on now, make this make sense. Let's go, y'all.
It became one of her defining hits and her first collaboration with writer Static Major, who would become a key creative partner. Her acting debut came courtesy of Romeo Must Die, for which she contributed 4 songs to the soundtrack, including Try Again, the first song to reach #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 on radio airplay alone, without a physical release. She would also film her second movie, Queen of the Damned, all the while working on her next album. Her future was bright. On July 17th, 2001, she finally released her self-titled third album, known informally as the Red Album, due to its artwork. It had been in the works since 1998, repeatedly delayed by her acting commitments. Upon release, it debuted at #2, recording the highest first-week sales of her career. However, the lead single, We Need a Resolution, which was selected over the album's second track, Loose Rap, stalled at #59 on Billboard, and album sales quickly declined. It was crucial that the follow-up...
Well, y'all noticed that, like he said, it was her applying herself. It's one of the reasons it was late. Since 1998, that's a long time, right? That's a long time. I don't think that's what, you know, I just don't believe that. I don't believe a person who is this talented as Aaliyah will wait that long to drop a CD and say, look, and let's look at it. It had been the worst since 1998, repeatedly delayed by her acting commitments. So they saying basically, well, due to the fact she was acting, she's in movies. You know, the CD got delayed. Well, we take a look at Tupac. Tupac was still able to make movies and create songs at the same time. So y'all gotta make this shit make sense. Make it make sense. I think, and this is just what I think, this is my opinion, you know, and you don't gotta agree with me, because if you don't, fuck you, I don't care anyway. But I think it wasn't her acting that prohibited the CD from, you know, being released, or prohibited the work from being completed from 1998 up into that moment of release. And this is what I gotta believe, and this is what the fuck I'm sticking with. I think the label was stopping her, holding her back. I think the label was delaying the music from being released. And that's the same thing that's taking place right now today with all these other artists. Finesse 2 times. Him, for example, he just got through going on a fucking 3-4 month rant and rave about how J. Prince Jr. and Rap A Lot Records or Mob Time Records will not release his fucking music. You know, they would not release his music, nor would they let him out of his contract. So he took it upon himself to release his music himself, and that's exactly what you should have done. Like, boss, you didn't. That's the only thing you can do. They forced your hand to do that, you know. And at that point of forcing your hand for your work, your energy, your technique, you know, we all know that's something that J. Prince Jr. can do, his old ass daddy can do, or his brother who won't be in shit like he do. You feel me? Now one of them weak ass niggas can do what the fuck Finesse 2 times. I definitely, didn't understand what took place with this. And let me go far, right? Look, check this out, y'all. Check this out. So I did a little speed, skipping to the front. I just want to see what took place. I want to know. Dame Dash talked about a lot, right? Of course, he did. He talked about a lot. And I think he really liked it, Aaliyah. He really did. He liked her. I don't know what was the beef between him and Jay-Z over Aaliyah.
It was a complicated situation, but she had to go do that video.
Dancer Leslie Nicole Lewis later remembered Aaliyah being firm about leaving that night, while almost everyone else remained behind.
And Aaliyah was adamant about getting back. She was like, no, but I'll see you guys at rehearsal. We were like, okay. Flying to the Bahamas, we said all of this for an 8 count. Like, the planes felt sketchy because the plane just was like, oh, this is a tiny plane. We're going where?
The plane they had arrived on was not available for the earlier return, so another aircraft was arranged. This one was smaller, with less room, less margin, and a lower weight limit. That should have been the first warning. Before the luggage was even loaded, the pilot, Luis Morales, reportedly raised concerns about the weight because of the passengers, personal bags, and production cases from the video shoot. According to another pilot who was at the airport at the time, Morales told the group directly that the aircraft was too heavy for a safe flight, but the group pushed back. They had chartered the plane, they needed to get to Miami, and eventually, Morales gave in. From that point, the flight was already moving in the wrong direction. No proper weight and balance calculation was completed. Bags and equipment were loaded unevenly, with witnesses later describing the process as haphazard. 2 security guards, both around 135 kilograms.
Hey, y'all, did I read that right? Did y'all read that right? Did we all read that right? Let me go back just a couple seconds. Right? Just a couple seconds. It said baggage handler. And then, hold on, before I even get to that part, right? He said, okay, he was warning her about too much weight on the plane. I don't believe that shit for it. That's just bullshit. That all sounds like a joke. They scripted and written down for him to tell the police and us for years to come. Like, they don't have to. They just the uncle was up for him. I think that nigga said, look, I'm gonna need a backup plan because look, I get paid to fly this little motherfucker and then ditch they bitch ass. What we're gonna do is we're gonna act like something happened to them. I'm gonna jump out the plane, got a parachute, say, they didn't, I don't know, it wasn't enough motherfucking parachutes for them. I told them positively, but however that worked out, it went the way it went. Now, if you I'm looking at the whole factor of let's go for it. Right, we're gonna go for it. Let's go. We're gonna move forward a little bit, and I want to see. Did I see a name I noticed? Right, Morales gave in. From that point, the flight was already bam. Okay, I guess. My direction, no proper weight and balance. Okay, so look, check this. Witnesses later describing the process. Okay, so look, read it. They say baggage handlers reported the plane was overloaded with suitcases, according to Gloria Knowles, who works for Abaco Air Ltd. Okay. Gloria Knowles, and I want to see. I'm like, who the fuck is Gloria Knowles? It made me want to do my studies. I had to. I'm trying to understand this shit. I do. I really want to know. Gloria Knowles. It better not be no Beyonce, You feel me? That should have blown me back. Gloria Knowles. Tina Knowles. Obituary for Gloria Jean Knowles. 2006, she died. 74 died after a courageous battle with a long-term illness. Tuesday, April 4th, 2006, and C.A. Dean Hospital and Nursing Home. Okay, so grandmother killed in a frenzied attack by daughter's dog. Daughter owned by her daughter Gloria Knowles. Death by 4 out of control and aggressive dogs. Owned by her daughter Gloria Knowles, 71. She entered the daughter's home. Now I don't know which story is real. Owned by her daughter Gloria Knowles. 1955. At the age of 82, Gloria was a wonderful mother. You see what I'm saying? There's so many goddamn stories they got. So many stories. Who worked for tobacco. NOTD. You know, but sometimes I gotta do the down on this. Investigators to look at luggage weight in a legal crash. Right away, okay. I wanna know. Boom, boom, bam. Now this story is scripted, of course, y'all already know. And y'all know how it go when these stories are scripted. You feel me? They don't make sure the truth and the proof, right? Let me see if I bang, bang. I want to see if I can present this for y'all so I can show y'all, right? Because at the end of the day, some of this shit don't make sense. It don't. To me, it don't. You know, I'm like, what the hell? All right, so let me do this, and I'm gonna pull one up. If I can. Sometimes it be wild. No, maybe not. Maybe not. Anywho, who gives a shit? We're still gonna add that one up there. To me, the strangest part is that, you know, Bohemian Aviation Authorities said Monday that investigation will look into the reports that the plane carrying singer Aaliyah and 8 others was plane crash Saturday killing. Okay, I can say because that's a rumor now. At this stage, we have requested our people take a look at that. Bohemian Civil Aviation Authority Director Cyril Saunders said in Nausea. He stressed that no cause had yet been determined for the crash. Meanwhile, officials from the United States flew to the Bahamas to assist, right? Authorities in determining what caused the plane crash. The U.S. team consists of representatives from the National Transportation Safety Board, the Federal Aviation Administration, and the Aircraft Co. and Continental Motors engine manufacturer. So Leland Russell, Abaco's assistant superintendent of police, told CNN that the police had gathered most of the luggage from the aircraft and plan on weighing it. He said investigators will consider all possibilities for the crash. Now, if you ask me, I think they probably would have did that already, but you know, we will go into the investigation with an open mind, Russell said. The Cessna plane was leaving Marsh Harbor Airport about 6:50 p.m. 6, well, that's 11. 1 plus 1, that's 2, right? Saturday, headed towards Miami area when it crashed shortly after takeoff. So I want to know what time it crashed exactly, right? And engulfed in flames, killing all 9 people aboard, according to the Pago police. So it killed Leah and the other 8 people. The driver didn't die, you know, which is the strange part. But let's see. All were U.S. citizens. Okay, baggage handlers reported the plane was overloaded with suitcases, according to Gloria Knowles, who works for Abaco in Marsh Harbor. She said the handler and the plane pilot had been flying. Okay, boom. Spokes when boom, victim. Damn. So when U.S. manufactured aircraft is involved, the victims were El Morale, pilot, age unknown. Okay, Aaliyah. Oh yeah, they did him bogus. That was a nigga. They didn't even know his age. Aaliyah Haunton, 22, White Plains, New York. Anthony died, 34, Los Angeles. Eric Foreman. Is that like Eric Foreman from fucking the 70s show? Los Angeles, California. Scott Gallen, Pompano Beach, Florida. Keith Wallace, 49, Los Angeles, California. Gina Smith, New Jersey. Douglas Krantz, Hollywood, California. Virgin Records representative. Also, he was a Virgin Records representative. And Christopher Maldonado, New York. Okay. And from that point on, there's nothing else about that story. No research. Nobody trying to find out. Anywho, I want to know if, let me see something, guys.
Drive became the biggest selling album of her career.
Cybercrime, a global, multi-billion-dollar industry. Ruthless.
Career the week she died. It would go on to sell over 30 million people.
Very sketchy about the death of Aaliyah.
An accidental plane crash.
There's a theory that Aaliyah's death was actually set forth by higher-ups in the music industry.
Even with all the facts presented, the official account for Aaliyah's death has never satisfied everyone. And decades on, the theories continue to persist, ranging from the debunked to the disturbing. One of the most persistent stories, fueled by Damon Dash, is that Aaliyah was supposed to travel home on Lenny Kravitz's private jet, but that Hype Williams took it instead, leaving her with no option but to board the smaller plane.
She was supposed to be on Lenny Kravitz's jet. Like, he offered it to her. And you can ask Lenny Kravitz, I guess. And Hype took it and had her on that plane.
This has been disproven. What actually happened was Kravitz's jet was sent to the Bahamas after Aaliyah's death, arranged by Kravitz, who was a personal friend of choreographer Fatima Robinson, to bring the remaining crew and dancers home as they were too afraid to board another small plane.
Fatima, unfortunately, she had to identify the body, so she had to go. Thank you, Lenny Kravitz. I've never gotten a chance to personally thank him, but he's friends with Fatima, and he actually lent his jet, or he had access to a private plane.
Yeah.
And he sent his private plane to get us
that
back.
Gave me chills.
The theory with the most traction online centers on Barry Hankerson and a reported $90 million life insurance policy he allegedly held on Aaliyah at the time of her death, as per former Blackground's record executive Ayla Tola Marv.
Barry, when Aaliyah died for a wrongful death, he got paid $90 million for her death. Am I supposed to say that on TV? Sue me. I ain't got nothing. I was with him on the negotiations.
What surrounds it is a set of circumstances that people have found hard to dismiss. By 2001, Aaliyah was reportedly beginning to distance herself from Blackground Records and quietly exploring other options. She was building an acting career that would generate income and leverage outside Hankerson's label structure, and she was in a serious relationship with Damon Dash, who was independently powerful and had no particular reason to protect R. Kelly or the label. And she had never spoken publicly about what R. Kelly had done to her. A silence that, given everything that was now known, some believe was becoming increasingly fragile, particularly as his infamous tape was starting to circulate. The theory holds that she was, by 2001, a major financial asset whose increasing independence made her a liability. None of this constitutes evidence of anything sinister at the hands of Hankerson or Kelly, but it is the context in which the questions keep getting asked. In a 2000
The uncle looked so sinister, y'all. Look, he looked like he'd kill you for some money. If he knew his niece was worth that much money, you know what I'm saying? He looked at it like he would kill you for some money. You know what I'm gonna do too after this? I'm gonna have to do my deep search, and then I'll probably do a part 2 to this. You feel me? And see like what was Blackground record labels net worth? What was her net worth? Was it like a Michael Jackson and Sony type of thing? Might start to blow up bigger than it. You know, like I said, because we really get to the bottom of this. At the end of the day, gang, I'm just like y'all. I do want to know what took place. I want to understand why it took place. You know, I want to know just like y'all. If you got anything you want to add, any comments, you know, hit me in my comments section. You already know. And we're gonna do a deep dive on this, part 2. You know, on what happened to Aaliyah. Episode 2, gang. I love y'all. Thank y'all for your time, man. You could have been anywhere, but you came here. Make sure you hit that share button and like button and subscribe.